dude. It is
Right.
wild, you know?
Yeah, I got to go out there to experience it. I've never even been out there.
You
I
do,
just
man.
you
You
just see it on
do.
TV, and then you're like, is this really how it is, or is like this a persona or whatever?
It's pretty much how it is. I
It
mean,
is, yeah.
don't get me wrong. Like, there's normal people living normal lives, and you can just go
Right.
about your day and do whatever you want to do, you know? But if you want to find the stuff, it's
Yeah.
there.
Right.
I think that's the difference. You know, it's like you can live kind of however you want to live. You know, if you want to just like have a job at doing whatever and kind of, you know, mosey around, or it's a big city, so there's a big variety of different things you can do.
Right.
But if you want to go there, you can create. That's the beautiful thing about it, right? It's like you're doing here with the show.
Right.
Like you're creating something that doesn't exist, you know, and that's. But you probably feel like, correct me if I'm wrong. Like you probably feel like you're one of the few
Right.
in
right.
this around where you are and doing like
Yeah,
they're doing
absolutely.
it, right?
Right.
So it's just like everybody's doing something,
Right. Right.
you know, and there's because that's where everybody goes to like to make it, or there's
Yes.
talent, or there's whatever, you know. So yeah, I mean, but I grew up around here, and being back here because family is right down the road. It's nice to be around family, you know.
Yeah, of
But
course.
it's you see the complete differences.
Right. I mean, it was probably tough to get on and like leave everyone you know. Like you knew nobody out there except for the guy whose house you lived in that didn't know you were there. So you just have to make friends from scratch, right? Like what do you do?
Pretty much. I mean, my uncle has been out there for about 20 something years.
Okay.
But you know, he's a little bit older. He's married, so it's
Yeah.
not like we were like going out for drinks and stuff. You know what I mean?
He's not hanging out at the clubs.
Yeah,
trying
it's
to
kinda-
sneak in and meet anyone.
It's a different mindset that we were on. So
For sure.
I was fortunate enough through social media to kind of have a decent network, you know. But that's what happens, man. Like you really just need to know one person or two people, and you know, you go and you get coffee, you get a drink or whatever, and then somebody walks in there like, oh, you should meet so and so, and then it's just a
Right.
snowball effect.
Yeah, absolutely.
And before you know it, like your whole calendar is booked up.
Yeah. So who's the craziest person you met there? Or like most famous or like most eccentric?
Oh
like
man,
whoever's
eccentric.
like
There's a guy. I don't know his name. I would have to look it up. But he's affiliated with some basketball team, and he goes into thing with like fur coats and the boas and the hats.
Yeah.
He was at that party that Paris Hilton was at. He's probably the most eccentric, like crazy ass person.
right.
As far as like fame goes, so Chris Harrison is the guy that hosts The Bachelor.
Yeah. Yep.
I had a pretty good conversation with him at like a Kentucky Derby party. He's probably high up on the list in terms
Right.
of fame. There's an actress named Annalyn McCord who's been on a bunch of stuff. Like I think she was on. I don't even want to say it because if I get it wrong, I'm gonna get in trouble with
Yeah.
her brother-in-law because I know her. She's super cool. Nikki Whalen is an actress who's super cool.
Yeah.
We've texted a few times. There's a lot of people like you meet in passing.
Yeah.
You know, I can't say I've met like A-listers.
Yeah.
You know, probably besides Chris Harrison, he was probably the bigger one. You know.
Right.
But that's the thing, man. Like you never know. You know what I mean? Like I walked by James Marsden, who's from like Westworld and like a bunch of different shows. But like I didn't have a conversation with him.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But you're kind of in the same place with
Yeah.
these people.
They're mingling amongst you. You know.
It's crazy, man.
That's where they all have to live,
yeah.
right?
That's exactly it.
Right.
Like, everybody's got to live somewhere.
Right. If you're gonna be in the showbiz, you have to be out in LA. Like that's where
Yeah.
where else are they gonna go?
Right. And then once you're there, why leave?
Right.
You know what I mean? If you're working there, if everything's based in there, you go to the grocery store and you see, who knows?
Right.
You know, or you like look at a picture from the paparazzi and you're like, I was just there. You know, it's wild, dude.
The cost of living is outrageous, though. Well, it's outrageous in Boston too. So is it that much worse, or
No.
right?
And once you start, that's a good point. Once you start going apples to apples of like, I mean, I was paying. Granted, I was sharing the apartment,
Right.
and in Burlington, Mass, I had my own place, but it was a suburb, and I was paying substantially less in LA.
Really?
Yeah. Now, again, like I said, it was a roommate situation,
Mhm.
whereas Burlington, it was my own. So it'll naturally be cheaper, but it was really reasonable.
Right.
So you can make it work.
Right.
If you want
Absolutely.
to, you know. I mean, I knew people that were like 6 people in an apartment. Like, not that I would ever do that.
Yeah.
But people that are there, man, they're just like, I'm gonna
Determination. Yeah.
for sure. You know.
Yeah, that's probably a huge part of it. So, like, how long after the blog did you go there? Like, were you just like tapped out in this area and were like, there's nothing much else? Like, there's no opportunity left outside of going to like LA, or what's like the second biggest hub, like New York?
New York.
So
Yeah.
I think outside of that, what is there? Like, if you're looking to get into the entertainment industry.
That's pretty much exactly how I felt. Yeah.
Right.
Because there were certain events that I would do here that it worked, or I'd go to New York for like a talk show thing or whatever
Mhm.
that, you know, but it was all outside of Boston, outside
Right.
of the area, you know? So yeah, I mean, it was probably a solid 4 years maybe
Okay.
before I didn't make the move for a while,
Right.
you know, because I was working different jobs, working at marketing firms and stuff. And then I had I was laid off. And at one point, it just got to the point where I was just like if I'm going to do this full time, I'm going to do it now.
Right.
You know? And then, I hit that plateau. And like I said, then the opportunity came up and I was like, well, screw it, man.
So it was like you got laid off and then the opportunity presented itself where like, if you're going to do it, now's the time.
I made the opportunity.
Right.
I made it. You know what I mean? I was doing a bunch of online courses for people. I was doing personal one-on-one coaching, which I'm still doing now.
Yeah.
But it was pretty much like, I have to make something work.
Right.
You know, but it was pretty much just scraping together the whole time until it got to the point where like, okay, I could actually make this happen. And I just, like, nothing was holding me back again besides family and stuff like that. And even they were like, go. Like, you've been talking about doing this for years.
Totally on board.
Yeah, they still are. If I wanted to go back, they're still supportive. It's just me who's like,
right.
You know, I don't want to miss anything here.
Yeah, exactly. Especially as you get older, everyone gets older. You know,
that's
you don't want to. You don't want to always be away. How often would you come back? Like, would you come back for Christmas or?
Yeah,
it's expensive to fly back.
Well,
too, though. You know?
That's the thing too. It's like Thanksgiving, Christmas. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're going back and forth like 3,000 friggin' miles, like every 2 weeks during the holidays, and it's just not that I had to do that, but like I felt that not obligated, but like I wanted to.
You wanted to, right? I mean?
Yeah, and even knock on wood, thankfully, I mean, my parents are healthy. Like it's not like I'm like being restricted to stay here.
Yeah,
but at the same time, it's weird being that far away.
Yeah. Do you still go back?
I went back probably 4 or 5 months ago. My brother was on a
recently,
TV show.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was he on?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say, actually.
You're not allowed to say. Is it not out yet?
It's not out yet.
Okay.
It's not out yet. There's some talk about it, some buzz about it, because the guy you would know the guy who hosts it. I'll tell you after the show.
Okay.
But
I'll tell you guys later. No,
yeah. No, but yeah, right. I'm gonna sign online and be like, what the hell, man?
Yeah.
You signed an NDA here. Jesus.
There'll be a lawsuit.
So, yeah. I don't think that's somebody you want to shoot with. Yeah. But I will tell you afterwards. But yeah, he and his girlfriend they're like the top 1% CrossFitters in the country.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And that's
ridiculous.
Wild now. People love it.
It's unbelievable. It's crazy.
Yeah.
They travel around, do all these huge competitions.
Oh, really?
So they were cast on like a fitness related show because of their abilities.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I was out there again. I actually ended up getting cast in a movie when I was there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
On purpose or on accident?
I saw like a director that I'm friends with on Facebook post. He needed a guy with a shaved head.
Yep.
It's like, I need a white dude with a shaved head. I had just shaved my head. I was like, hey man. And then literally the next morning I was in an Uber going to a Hollywood movie studio.
Just like that, huh?
Yeah.
That's quick. That's crazy.
Things just come up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, it's wild.
So you weren't going there for that?
No.
You were going there to see your brother.
Yeah, exactly.
And that just so happened to happen.
It just happened, man.
Wow.
It just happened.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that happens. You know what I mean? Leave the house. Like when I went to the GQ Men of the Year party, it was like I was out for drinks with a couple friends. And I saw somebody that I knew on Instagram that on his story, he was at this GQ. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, I've always just been obsessed with GQ and the events, and I've always wanted to be kind of part of that. And I hit him up and I was like, dude, like I slid into the DMs. I was like, bro, I was like, dude, I'm like 2 miles down the street. And after a little finagling, like I literally walked up to the door. And I was dropping names, and they were like, "Yeah, sorry. Like, either somebody has to come get you, or we just can't help you."
Yeah.
But even then, I didn't like. The line was down the street. I was like, "Fuck this!" And I walked past everybody right up to the front,
Yeah.
as if like they weren't going to turn me down.
Yeah.
And, like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, they're going to know who I am. And but he came down, he came through,
That's
and I just walked
hilarious.
in. And I was like, I had to kind of pause again and be like, okay, I'm here. You know.
Right.
It's crazy, man. It's wild.
Yeah. Now, for people watching who want to do different things like outside of the norm, how much of it is just like doing it, like leaning into it? You know what I mean?
99%.
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. You need to feel ready to some degree.
Right. Like calculated, like a calculated risk.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Good point. Yeah, exactly. That's a perfect way to put it. Because it's like, you have sort of like a foundation built, or at least enough confidence to go and be like, I'm going to do this, whatever it is, or walk up to somebody at an event, or like network,
it's
you know
ballsy.
what I mean?
I think about it. It's like just to go to the front of the line and be like, "Hey, man, I'm here. Like, what's going on?"
And looking back on it, dude,
like,
it was like, it was, but it worked.
Right.
It worked literally almost every single time.
That's funny. And